Okay, this is a very interesting thing that we are going to get into. So, the overlay that you see there, This is an individual by the name of, well, her rapper name. Her rapper name is Dripin Honey.
Oh
Drippin' Honey
shit.
is Drippin' Honey is a Detroit area aspiring hip hop star who goes by her real name is Dominique Brown. That's her real name. The reason why this is trending is because she's also a teacher at a high school. And apparently, she was recently fired from her teaching job because of the fact that she's trying to be a hip hop star. She's trying to be a rapper. She's making rap music. And apparently, she was told once the administration discovered what she's doing with her music career, she was told, hey, no more of this rap stuff. And of course, she's not going to back down. She's going to keep making her music. She kept making her music. Now she's done. They fired her. And so now it's become a bit of a story because this Drippin' Honey, an aspiring rapper in the Detroit area who is also a teacher at a Detroit high school, has been fired after parents complain about her music video. So that's what happened here. So this article says Detroit teacher fired after parent complains about her viral video, Drippin' 101. Detroit rapper Dripin Honey, who also teaches in the Detroit area and goes by the name Miss Brown, was reportedly fired from her job because of her music career. In a TikTok video, Honey explained that the parent of one of her students was very unhappy about her new music video, Drippin' 101. She alleges that even months she alleges that even months after constant meetings with her employer about her involvement in the music industry, she was ultimately asked to erase all her content. Brown added that the video featured her students, one of whom was wearing merchandise from Taylor Preparatory High School, though it's unclear if that was the school she was fired from. The video has garnered over 235,000 likes on TikTok. Now, you can see there again, link to this article will be in the description of this video. You can go ahead and play the music video there, Drippin' Honey. I'm not going to play the video because if there's an IP stipulation on it, this video will get flagged for copyright reasons. So I'm not going to play the music video. You can play it for yourself. But yeah, she was fired from her high school job after she was asked to erase her content. She didn't do it. And on top of that, parents were complaining about the nature of her music. Now, I will say, if you watch the music video, it is suggestive. It is the content, the lyrics are suggestive. But, be that as it may, despite how suggestive the content was, it is nevertheless music. It's not like we're talking about a chick who does OnlyFans or is a sex worker. So this is the first time that we've seen, or at least for me personally, this is the first time I've heard of someone being fired from a post in education due to the fact that they were making music outside of their job. So what do you make of this story, man? Miss Dominique Brown, do you think that she was done dirty here?
Uh, Boy, that's a tough question.
It is. It's a
Um,
tricky one. Yeah.
yeah, man, that's a tough one because
Yeah, man. So
when I
I'm
watch
sitting here.
this, so I'm looking at this as if I was in high school. And by the way, man, when I was in high school, bro, I thought I was an adult. So if my teacher was doing that, I would be like, "Hey, yo, this live. Like, can I be in the video? Like, hey, I'm on TV. Hey, you know what I'm saying? We're on World Star." It would have been a movie for me if I was a kid. I would have heard worse songs if I was a high school kid. Um, I would have seen worse videos if I was a high schooler. So the thing is that yes, it is suggestive and it's teetering on the line of professionalism. And so do I think she needed to have been fired? I felt like fired was aggressive, but honestly, I don't know what the board or was supposed to do when there's concerned parents that there's a sexy red teacher. They probably didn't even hear the song. They just know that the teacher's rapping. She was twerking too. She was fully clothed. She was twerking though. So it was just a lot going on. And I just think that when I was looking, I was like, you know what, this is too much. This is too much. And I can see why they fired her. And I can
Yeah.
also see why she would be like, come on, no, like, you know, this is, this is my art. Or like, it's a wild dynamic. But as you mentioned, this is not apples to apples with um that OnlyFans teacher we covered a few weeks ago. This is not akin to that, but it is within the same. It's in the same arena. They're not in the same. They're not in the same court playing. It's a different court, but y'all in the same arena, and it's just not a good look. Like the only people that go to that arena, shouldn't be going to schoolyards too. So yeah, so it's just wild, man. I kind of feel bad for her because again, I've heard worse. So what are your thoughts, man? How do you feel about all of this, man? Do you feel as though it's fair, it's equitable? Like, should she receive this treatment, or was it a little heavy-handed?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, dog.
And that might be the first time that's ever been my response to any topic that we've done on this channel. I don't know. Because initially, when you sent me this and I was reading it and then I watched the video, I was like, that's kind of suggestive.
It kind of was.
But at the same time, I also thought like this is a where's the line conversation for me. Where's the line, right? So for me, I always told myself I draw the line at sex work. Like, listen, you wanna live in this new media, new human world where there's all of these different dynamic ways to make money and support yourself, like being a sex worker by leveraging the internet to do your sex work, then fine. But understand that you're going to have to make concessions the concessions are going to have to be made on your part if that's the road in life that you choose. One of those concessions being, hey, I can't be a teacher. Like as a sex worker, a concession that I'm going to have to make is I might not be able to be a teacher at a school.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And that's just a concession that you're just going to have to make.
Yeah.
Because it is, even though it's not illegal, it is a bit improper in terms of the influence over children and the fact that you create this kind of content on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, where's the line? And so as an outsider looking in, I was like, well, I kind of have a problem with them firing her because I draw the line at sex work. Like I draw the line at like sex work and truly egregious things like, like child abuse and the real bad stuff like being a pedo and all of that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So like I draw the line at that kind of stuff when it comes to art. Can you be a teacher still? Mm-hmm. You can't be doing OnlyFans. You can't be a porn star and still teach. I'm sorry. That's just a concession. Is trying to be a rapper a part of that line? Initially for me, I said, no, it's not. She's trying to make music. To me, it's not as offensive to me as being a sex worker. That's what I initially told myself. But then I asked myself this question. Mm-hmm. I said, okay, if my child, if I had a child and my child's teacher was this chick, would I be uncomfortable with that?
I'm removing them from the class.
Right. Like I asked myself that honest question. I was like, okay, if I had a kid, my own kid, my flesh and blood, and I happened to be on TikTok one day and saw that one of my kids' teachers had a ratchet music video like this, and it was going hard in the streets of Detroit, would I be uncomfortable with that? And the honest truth is, yes, I would be. I would be. So it's one of those situations where I really don't know. Like, as a non-parent, I want to say it's not as bad as being a sex worker. So no, she shouldn't have been let go. But at the same time, the administration has the right, and this is what people who are living in new human society need to understand. You're not beholden to do whatever you want culture when it comes to the workplace. Like, we're not there yet. So you can't just be willy-nilly being a sex worker and doing all kinds of other suggestive things and think that you can just walk into a professional environment and people are going to separate the two. Freedom of speech and freedom of expression is not is limited to the professional workplace. And a lot of people forget that in the professional workplace, your employer and the administrative governing body can determine that it is against their rules for you to be an active person making content like that and work for them.
Yeah.
So if they did that and they had the right to say, hey, listen, we're getting complaints from parents. We're going to have to ask you to kind of desist with this. And she kept making the music and didn't take it down. Then at that point, you get what you got coming to you in terms of being terminated. It is what it is. Intrinsically, do I think it's a bit much? Perhaps. But then at the end of the day, I think to myself, if I'm a parent and I see that my child's teacher has this music video out here where she's busting it wide open and talking about money and tricking and doing all of this other stuff, as a parent, would I take issue with it? Probably, I would.
You're talking about tricking? I think she did have a line. It was some stuff in there where I'm listening. I'm like, oh, let me listen to it. But I know she did say some stuff like she was getting head or some stuff like that.
Yeah. So that's what I'm like. So I'm just like, okay, if I have a parent, even if my kid's in high school, I don't care. They're still a child.
Yeah,
they're still a child. You are, even if you're in high school, you are at the mercy of suggestive content. I mean, we were in high school and we're on the higher end of the intelligent quotient, and we were still very susceptible to certain forms of messages.
Oh yeah.
and this was pre-Instagram and TikTok and YouTube.
Oh yes, brother.
So my thing is, as a parent, would I have an issue with it? Yeah, I would. And so I feel like I'm somewhere in the middle. Intrinsically, I would say it doesn't strike me as crossing the line the way sex working does.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was a parent, I would have a problem with it. So I don't know. I guess that's kind of my roundabout way of having a non-answer because I don't like it. Yeah, like I don't like it, but I like it because at the end of the day, it is suggestive. And if I'm a parent, I probably have a problem with it. So to me, it's understandable that she was fired, even though it's unusual in that usually we hear stuff about this. Usually we hear stuff like this with these teachers who do OnlyFans, right?
Right.
I've heard many stories with teachers getting fired because they do OnlyFans. Never heard one about this. But like you said, they're kind of in the same ballpark. And it's like, this is the world that we live in now with this deconstruction that we got going on, where this is another aspect of it. We can observe another attempt at social deconstruction. Yes, I'm a teacher, but I can also be a thought box ratchet rapper and be a teacher. Previously, that would have been a no-go, right? We would have known that there's some impropriety inherent in that. But in this new world, it's like we are being forced to accept that your kid can go to school and your teacher may be a thought ratchet rapper.
No.
I'm just saying. Like,
no, it's because it's happening. This is the one we know about.
Yes, right. This is one of those attempts at deconstruction, social deconstruction.
Yeah.
So the best that I can say is, if I'm a parent, I would have a problem with it. And if I'm saying that, then I can also say that as a parent, if my child was in this woman's classroom, I probably would be okay with them firing her.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. And because I was just thinking about the inverse, like if it was a male teacher. And if there was a male teacher, in my mind, automatically, I already know if he's a rapper, he better be rapping like this over here. His videos better be like this over here. And if it looks, smells, tastes like any of these other videos that these other clowns is doing, you're not being professional. And you won't have a job. So for instance, if he was like D1 and he's rapping like D1, where he's talking about philosophical stuff, and I'm trying to get people into school, I'm trying to get people into religion, and it's just like, well, who's mad at that? I've heard some of your raps. It's pretty good. Why don't more guys rap like this? That's D1. And if you were a teacher who was a rapper, that better be your whole lane. You know, Andre 3K, even above that. Like you can't even like certain cuss words and stuff. Like you got to be on another level. But if you have one fast car, one brick of money, putting it to your ear, you know what I'm saying? I just want the head. I don't need the cat. Excuse me, sir. And you're teaching my son Alex. It's like, nah, man, you're out of here. So I can see that because we really don't see, first of all, which is sad anyway, that there's not enough black male teachers. Let's go ahead and throw that out there. Yeah, that's sad. So it's not really much room for that. It's not enough marbles in that jar to pick one. But we got a lot of female teachers in the trap, and they've been thoughting. And we knew this. You know what I'm saying? Soon as bell rings, she hot in the pants. She's going somewhere crazy. You know, she doing her thing, city girling. So they're all teachers. So for one of them to pick up a microphone, I don't think this is the first time we're going to hear about this. And I think it's going to be a growing phenomenon because there's a growing phenomenon of women picking up the microphone.
Yeah.
And that's why I was trying to listen, is trying to see what she was saying. And I'm like, all right, now you a teacher. Now everybody going to come to school with this. So how are you going to play it? And she was saying to me a little bit too much sexual stuff. And I was like, the way she going to play this is when she's actually on, because her whole thing is, I wasn't even explicit as I can be. This video wasn't as ratchet as it could have been. But if this woman gets on, trust and believe, she'll be sexy red in it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. She'll be talking about booty holes being brown. So, giving her the opportunity, she would be doing that. That's the lane she's in. So with all of that being said, she was wearing that uniform. You can't wear that uniform to school. And that's what it looked like, what happened here. So yeah, man, I don't like seeing people getting fired. I just don't like that. I guess that's just to me, the person that just don't want me to get fired somewhere. So like, hey man, don't lose your job over that. But I get it, man. When you're in certain fields, you got to say certain things and tote certain lines. So I feel like she violated, but this is new stuff, bro. So we're gonna be saying this a lot more often, I feel.
Yeah, I have several themes that you'll hear throughout my commentary on this channel: echo chambers, nonconformity. One of my themes is social deconstruction. We talk about that a lot when we deal with topics relating to things like gender. And my whole thing is, this is an aspect of social deconstruction where it's like, why can't I be a ratchet rapper and be a teacher? Like we're deconstructing it down to its base model so that we can build it back up with entirely new rules and perspectives.
Anarchy.
And so this is what we're seeing. And so the thing about it is it going to take or is it not? Only time will tell. But I think at this point, we're still at a juncture in which certain aspects of making a living or certain things that you do come with certain concessions, and it's not unreasonable to ask that you make those concessions. So if you're trying to be one of these kinds of ratchet rappers like this, one of those concessions is maybe you cannot teach young kids. Maybe that's just a concession you'll have to make. And just like if you have an OnlyFans page and you're literally getting bust down in front of a camera to your subscribers, it's uncouth for you to be a teacher at that point. It just is. It just is, man. It just is. But the social deconstruction contingent inherent in the West is one that dictates that we're trying to make that not the case. So she's trying to be someone who can be a teacher, and I'm pretty sure she did her job well.
Yeah,
I'm going to give her the benefit of being someone who's a good teacher. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's kind of hard to toe that line. At least we're not in a complete and total state of social anarchy. Not yet. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there, but we haven't arrived at that point just yet, where we have porn stars and Cardi B, sexy red sounding rappers teaching kids in elementary school and middle school and high school. But, you know, as the internet continues to proliferate, I agree with you 100%. We will see more examples of this. At the end of the day, I just tapped into my sensibilities as a would-be teacher. Would I have an issue with this kind of content coming from the teacher of my own child? And in my heart of hearts, if I'm answering the question honestly, I would be. Would I want her to get fired? Perhaps not. But if she's unwilling to play by the rules that the school dictates, then hey, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I know that I would prefer it if my own child wasn't being educated by somebody who I can find on YouTube producing content like this. You know, it just that's just the way the cookie crumbles, man. It's like how do you? It's like, you know, the age old adage of pornography. Well, how do you know it's porn? I know it when I see it. And this is something where it's like, yeah, I know when it crosses the line for me when I see it. And for
Yeah.
me, if this was my kid being taught by this chick and she's making this kind of music, I feel some type of way about it. So I don't know, man. We'll continue to evolve, you know, continue to move along with how the society is continuing to evolve. But at this point, we're still at the stage where when you're doing certain things, certain concessions got to be made. I mean, it
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah. And last thing I'll say is, and this is to Dripin Honey, because I know she watched. So for Dripin Honey, this is what I'll say, because I know she didn't want to be a teacher in the first place. She wanted to be a rapper. If her song had blew up, she was gonna finesse the game and then leave the kids, but not leave them like I don't love them. Just leave them like this was just a placeholder to buy studio time. Look, y'all made it, and she was just gonna be who she was. So my advice to her is that yeah, this sucks, but you're getting a lot of pub right now. You made it to the conscious approach. So my whole thing is flip this, and you know, don't be the teacher that got fired. Be Drippy Honey with the new publicity that you're getting.
Yeah.
So best of luck to you, because I felt like I feel like, I don't know, man. You know, call me crazy, man. I feel like she's a cool person. I don't think
Oh,
I've seen worse.
yeah.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen worse. So I feel
Yeah.
like she's cool, and so she, you know, she'll make it if she keep trying. So
Yeah.
keep at it, man. Don't like to see her get fired for this, but as you mentioned, bro, that certain things comes with things, and if you
Yeah.
want to get in this industry, you might have to give up this part of what you want to do. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, wild stuff, bro. Wild stuff.
Yeah, it is. It is wild, man. Yo, good luck to you, Miss Brown. Dripping honey. Good luck to you. Good luck to you.
I
But you
thought you were
know,
talking about her booty hole, but that is her last name. Yeah, Miss Brown. My bad.
dripping honey. Good luck to you, sweetheart. But yeah, man, we still at the point where concessions have to be made. You know,
Yeah,
um, it is what it is. But crazy. It very interesting story though. Interesting
yeah,
story.
yeah.